2019, you were impeached simply for asking Ukraine to look into Hunter Biden's dealings in Ukraine. We were told it was a conspiracy theory. Don't look there. Joe Biden fired the prosecutor because it was only due following U.S. policy. We now know from the documents that we got from the State Department last week that he wasn't following U.S. policy. He did the opposite. He was told to give the $1 billion and that Victor Shokin, the prosecutor, was doing a good job. He does the opposite. 4 years it takes to get that story, the honest story. How frustrating is it to you? And do you think this opens the door for Joe Biden to be impeached?
Well, I've never been apologized to. That wasn't just that I was treated unfairly. I was exactly right. And if you go, thank goodness we had that call taped. I don't know what would have happened. We had these lawyers like Vindman, Alexander Vindman, Lieutenant Colonel, called me Lieutenant Colonel, he says to the commission. But Vindman and all these people, they reported a much different phone call than was made. They talked about quid pro quo. Well, there was none. And I'll never forget the look on some of their faces. They said they're going to impeach me. And they went on and they started the process, which was very quick. By the way, they didn't have an impeachment inquiry. The word inquiry was thrown away. They had an impeachment because Nancy Pelosi said, we're going to impeach him. And virtually immediately they impeached me. They didn't go through 10 years of inquiry. So I get a kick when I see, because they play a different game. But they're dirty players. They're good at cheating in elections and allowing people to pour into our country from prisons and mental institutions. That's what they're good at. But they are just so horrible for this country. But I turned out to be 100% right. I said, if for any reason you see any corruption, and I have to do that actually, because Ukraine is a very corrupt country. I hate to say it. You know that. And we have a treaty with Ukraine, and I know you know it. Most people don't. We have a treaty, and it says you can't be corrupt. And it's pages and pages and pages of what to do. And this is a signed treaty. And somebody signed it because they figure we're giving so much money to Ukraine. I guess you got to have some kind of a document. But what I said was exactly right. I said, if you see any corruption, you must report it, not to me, to the Attorney General of the United States. They didn't do that. Now, it turned out that my call was not only perfect, it was beyond perfect. It was like I nailed it. Now, unfortunately, very few people report that. They try and forget it. Like, well, let's not talk about that one anymore. But I had great backup, I will say, from the Republican Party. They backed me. We won, I think it was 196-0, which is something that just doesn't happen. 196-0 on the impeachment thing. And that's something you don't see. But it was not just a correct call. It was really, I was the one that started this whole thing, because that's what started at Burisma. It was all so corrupt. And I said, if you see corruption, please report it. That's all I did. And for that, I got impeached. And here's Biden goes, and I don't know what he was thinking when he did this. I don't know. He was never a smart guy in prime time. You know that. I mean, people say that for years.
Yes, sir.
Take a look at
Yes, sir.
numbers. Take a look at everything. But I don't know what he was thinking when he stood up and bragged about how he wouldn't give the $1 billion, and you got to get rid of the prosecutor, and then voila, the prosecutor's got it. He's bragging about it. He could have done without that conversation. If that were me or a Republican that used the exact same words, the trial would have ended 2 years ago.